Ask yourself the damn question. Is winning the only thing to you?
Sports today are not just played on the field. They're played every day, online, all over the world, by sports fans just like you.
Don't you dare breathe. That won't get you anywhere. If you don't think you're a winner, you don't belong here.
The Star Fantasy League Show puts you in control of your own team. Find out who to sit, who to start, how to play, and have your daily fantasy sports questions answered with your host, Jonathan Sprong, and co-host SFL CEO Zach Stanley and Nick Stablenko. The Star Fantasy League Show is on the air now.
Hello and welcome to the Star Fantasy League Show here on 105.5 The Team in Rochester. I am your host, Jonathan Sprung, joined, as always, by Teddy Bear 2 himself, Nick Stablenko.
I think I'm the only happy one in this room today. The only one with a smile on his face.
That sounds like it's kind of normal, though.
Well, it's sunny outside in Rochester. You don't get that very often. And my Packers put on a clinic last night. What else could you ask for? Really?
A lot.
Yeah.
No.
I'd have to agree with him.
That's pretty awesome, you know?
Very rare times do I agree with John, but this is one of them.
That other voice you heard is, of course, the man who just keeps finding his way back in here because he owns his own universe, Matthew Footer.
Somehow I got to learn to feed that cage guy so I can actually someday get my name said on this.
No, it's never going to happen.
You have to feed John.
Yeah, if you buy me lunch, I'm pretty sure I'll call our cage man. And before we get into the room, then I'll let him know.
Oh, is that easy?
Yeah.
Just don't take him anywhere good, because
yeah,
he doesn't like good food. I don't know.
That's definitely it. That right? I don't like things that are good.
No, that's a pretty fair assessment, I would say.
Hey, I had like 3 or 4 good meals over the weekend at apparently terrible restaurants. I had like Olive Garden and all these other. No, I actually didn't go there. Nobody. Footer takes offense to that because he used to work there.
Listen,
No, I don't.
The breadsticks are fantastic. Okay, that's all I'm gonna say.
Sure, let's go with that. All right, this Star Fantasy League show on a Monday morning or a Monday evening. What is it right now?
It's early evening.
It is
rush
a day.
hour.
That is true. We're on a drive time show, aren't we?
Yeah.
Yeah. But this is off to a horrible start on a Monday. We're talking about food. It's not Tuesday. We're supposed to be talking about NFL football. It is Monday, which means football just happened. But we also have more football to look forward to. Before we get into a recap of Week 10, we have to break down a certain football game that's happening tonight with everyone's favorite underdog quarterback, the butt fumbler himself, Mark Sanchez.
Favorite?
That sounds like
Everyone's
Favorite because we like to laugh at him.
Everyone's favorite butt fumbler.
that sounds like a Batman character from like the '60s show, the butt fumbler.
Wham.
Pow.
Pow.
Yeah,
that
definitely.
was the sounds that came
Yes,
out.
the onomatopoeia just speaks for itself.
But seriously, there is a football game going on tonight between a team that somehow is still in the playoff race in Carolina. If they win tonight, they take over the lead in the NFC South. Can you believe that?
How happy do you think they were when when Jimmy Graham quote unquote pushed off on that Hail Mary play at the end of the game?
Okay, we're gonna get to that later, but yeah, I don't think anyone's a bigger fan of that play. I don't even think San Francisco cared as much as Carolina did.
Definitely.
Yeah.
I mean, to be 3-5-1 and to still be in the hunt is a dream come true.
No, not in the hunt. They are in the prime position.
I would say this is hunt. This is definitely the hunt because, I mean, New Orleans can still put together a string of wins. They can.
They're not that good, though.
They should have won that game.
Yeah.
That should have been a win. So they should be 5-5.
Drew Brees has been pretty bad
Or
this year.
5-4, excuse me.
I wouldn't say pretty bad. He hasn't been.
He's
Drew
put up
Brees.
good stat numbers, but he's turned the ball over. That Detroit game a few weeks ago, he threw the ball at the worst time at the end of the game. Yesterday, he didn't step up in the pocket when Ahmad Brooks was coming around the side and gets stripped and basically cost him the game.
Yeah, I don't know. I have to agree with Footer on that one. But, I mean, in terms of this game, Carolina has every opportunity to step up and take control of the division. So this is a big one for them. The fact that Nick Foles isn't in, I'm not sure if that's a good thing or a bad thing.
We don't know.
We don't know yet. So, I mean, Chip Kelly's offense is still going to run. LaShawn McCoy and Darren Sproles will probably see an increase in opportunities. And I still see the Eagles winning this because we talked about this last week. They're a really good offensive team all around. Mm-hmm. They don't necessarily need a good quarterback to run everything.
They had Mike Vick, and that's just all I'm going to say.
So, I mean, I think that this is a great opportunity for them to showcase that they are a complete team and one that needs to be dealt with seriously.
Yeah, Cam Newton's got to play one of those games where we haven't seen too many of those this year, where he runs for 65, 70 yards and isn't turning the ball over and finding his favorite target, Kelvin Benjamin. Benjamin was not a factor last Thursday when they played, but Newton was just all over the place. I mean, he was missing him on some wide open throws. Benjamin did drop one in the end zone, but when those two hook up, they usually do pretty well. I think every time Benjamin scores a touchdown, I think they've won this year at least.
They're going to need him to step up because I assume that they're going to be down big because Carolina's their vaunted defense this year is bottom third in basically every defensive.
I was going to say, I think this has the potential to be another high-scoring game for both sides. Obviously, we know what the Eagles can do offensively, but defensively, I don't think they're too special. And Greg Olsen has had a great year. Kelvin Benjamin has had a great rookie season so far. Cam Newton's going to need to run the ball a lot, I think, and I really don't. I mean, the Panthers come at it with this 2 or 3 headed rushing attack, and that's okay. It keeps every defense honest, but no, I think you're going to see quite a shootout tonight.
It's a 2 or 3 headed monster, but none of the heads are very good.
Yeah, no, they're all very passive prime or unrecognizable.
Or never hit their prime.
Exactly. They are primeless heads.
They should have just gone with Mike Tolbert for the rest of his career. He at least knew how to get the ball across the end zone.
That's true.
Well, from the 1, yes.
Who cares?
Touchdown Tolbert.
So what? If he can get 3-4 yards every time, then we're good to go.
He can score from the 1. He's really good.
That's fine.
All right.
Jonathan Stewart and D'Angelo Williams cannot score from the 1.
Before we move on, I got to ask, who do you guys got tonight?
I got to take Philadelphia. I just haven't seen enough from Carolina for them to be consistent enough, even though with the QB play. I think Philadelphia wins this. So.
I'm actually going to go with Carolina. This whole division is just upside down, topsy-turvy, but Carolina is actually pretty famous over the past couple of years for winning games they shouldn't and losing games they shouldn't. So I think Carolina squeaks one out.
The reason why I say it is Philadelphia barely lost to Arizona on the last play of the game. So they easily could have one loss to this point.
Absolutely.
Too. So
definitely.
I think they're a lot better than even their record says just because of that. So
I think Carolina has a nice little defensive resurgence in this game and takes Mark Sanchez out pretty early of his rhythm and screws things up. I think Carolina wins.
I think that's important too.
Who is it they're back up there now? Does anyone know?
It's probably still Matt Barkley.
Yeah, Matt Barkley.
Oh, yeah.
Matt, I had more turnovers than completions. Barkley, that guy.
Forgot about him. Yeah.
He was really bad when he got his time.
Yes.
Yes, forgettable is the nice way of putting it. No, he's atrocious. All right, we got to move on. Speaking of atrocious, the Buffalo Bills played on Sunday. That was right.
At least we didn't lose to the Jets.
I think that was a fair segue.
Well, you have a chance.
We did. We do.
Yes, I know you do have a chance to lose to the Jets. Don't you dare try to. I called that, by the way. I knew that was a trap game. I said we were probably going to be either close or losing, and we lost. Terrible team.
Yeah, that was a really bad loss for Pittsburgh.
Well, we'll definitely get to that in Giles' mailbag. Of course, somebody sent in a very nice question about the Jets.
Of course
they did. I don't actually know if they did. Oh, no, yes, they did. There's a really dumb question in there.
Is it Sal from New York?
Yeah. Hey, Hal, I'm actually from New Jersey, but I said I'm from New York because everybody else says that, too.
Yep.
Stupid New York fans.
I think there's a few different ways that you could approach how to describe this game. One of them, which Matt and I talked about before today, I think that the Bills got outcoached very badly. I think that Andy Reid he knows how to utilize what he has to the fullest extent, and it's unbelievable because some of those play calls, that 4th and 1 where Jamal Charles runs it for a touchdown, everybody thought they were going up the middle. So Andy Reid, being the wise man that he is, realizes everybody knows that we're going up the middle. Quick little fake and a pitch outside, and they utilize Jamal Charles' speed. That was fantastic. And then and the bootleg on the Alex Smith touchdown was fantastic as well. Those were 2 great calls. I think those stood out. And I just really think they got out coached. I know the turnovers definitely factor in, but I think in a tight game like this with 2 teams that are geared towards the run, you need to have a really good coach, and Andy Reid did a great job.
Quick question: which Andy Reid were you more worried about? The one in the stands or one on the sidelines?
That was hilarious.
That was great.
I really couldn't tell the difference for a second. I was like, why is Andy Reid standing in the stands right now? Is he messing around? And I didn't have the sound on, so I had no idea what was going on.
Did you see what his play card was?
No.
It was I read a little profile on this guy. It was a menu to his favorite restaurant.
Was it really? I thought that was unbelievable. That was great.
That sounds about right.
That was fantastic.
It really showed the different classes that both of these coaches are in, with Andy Reid being at the top and Doug Marrone being we don't know where.
No, near the bottom. Near the bottom's okay.
2 4th down plays, they go for it and are successful. Buffalo has a fourth down in inches, and they try to draw the guy offsides, and they get called for a false start. Why don't you just run a QB sneak? I heard the stat the other day. QB sneaks are successful almost 86% of the times. I don't understand why they just didn't go forward with that.
You have
that costed
Kyler.
them.
That's why.
No, that doesn't matter.
Still,
I don't
though.
think it matters
Well, we were
whatsoever.
talking earlier. Why don't you bring EJ Manuel in? He's a big guy, and you just have him run.
If you're
forward.
nervous about it, but you shouldn't even be nervous
No.
about it. It's pretty simple. As long as you have a good transition between the center and the quarterback, you're good to go.
Yeah.
You just put your head down and push. You just have to win the battle at the line. And apparently they're not confident enough in their offensive line, which, by the way, actually held up pretty well yesterday for all of the concerns that they've been thrown their way.
Yeah.
I couldn't believe that they wouldn't go do something like that. That shows no confidence in your line. It shows no confidence in your players. I've never really been a fan of trying to draw them off sides on fourth
No.
down. Maybe early in the game, sure, but when it's crucial, just get it done.
Yeah.
Get it done.
Well, what was the killer, which I didn't understand, was even though he had the fumble, which was basically a busted touchdown, Bryce Brown was killing it yesterday. He had 13 touches for 100 yards. Most of that came in the pass game, but he was just dynamic, touching the ball every time. He was getting 8-9 yards, and they just would stray away from him. He'd get one touch, and then they throw it 3 plays and go for the 3 and out. So I didn't understand it.
I'd like to say that this is the point of the show where we just bash on Nathaniel Hackett because apparently him and Booby were both killing it on the ground. 6.9 yards per carry for
Yeah.
Booby,
Yeah,
5
Booby had
for
a really
Bryce
good game,
Brown.
too.
Fred wasn't much of a factor, which we figured.
Then why play him? That's like why
He still had
play
50
him?
total yards. He had some nice catches. He was in there on a few
But the other
blocks.
two guys are clearly playing well in the run game. Why even risk a guy that was barely going to play this week?
I don't even know if it's that question. I think it goes back to the coaching tendencies. Why force the run? Why force certain plays in certain situations? Where Andy Reid and the offense got creative on a fourth down play, and they figured out how to get around everything. The Bills just don't do that. They say, okay, we have to get Booby Dixon the ball. We have to get Fred Jackson the ball. Not like, okay, here's what the situation would dictate. And I think that's a major problem that they're having. It's a situational game. If you're 3rd and 7 and everybody's expecting to pass, that's why the screenplay goes so often on a 3rd and long. Or on a 3rd and short, and everybody's up at the line. That's where a play action or a screenplay works. Something. Throw them off. You have to figure out a way to think ahead. Think forward. And then they don't do it.
Quick question before we head into the break. Are you more upset at Bryce Brown for fumbling at the goal line or Scott Chandler for clearly not knowing how to pick the football up?
Leotis McKelvin for fumbling on a punt.
Yeah, I'm actually more upset about that
Yeah.
later in the game.
You
Really?
cannot drop the ball.
play
there.
the defensive back make was a pretty good one. Brown's got a hold on the ball, but yeah.
Your job is to catch the punt, make sure you field it, don't drop it.
All right, we're talking more football all day today on the Star Fantasy League Show. Coming up after the break, it's time for John Old's Mailbag, and you're listening to the Star Fantasy League Show on 105.5 The Team.
The Star Fantasy League Show. Information is key to being a successful fantasy team owner, and the guys have all the updated info you need right now. Okay, fantasy sports fans.
There's a letter in your mailbox.
Time to dig into Donald's mailbag for your questions and comments.
Read the mail, read the mail, read the mail.
Jump in the game. Send your questions and comments to the Star Fantasy League's team by tweeting at SFL Show.
That's right. We actually have John Old's Mailbag today on the show. I felt like it's gone away for a little bit now. I've been very
has.
sad.
You're right.
I know.
It's just been floating in the wind.
Floating in Photos Universe.
No, it hasn't been doing either of those things. It's just been, we actually have things to talk about. And when we don't have things to talk about, we take listener questions. Because who the hell wants these listener questions? Nobody likes them.
I appreciate them. In
I
Photos
also
Universe.
appreciate them.
I appreciate the really dumb. I appreciate the dumb ones. One was so dumb that I actually took it from Footers Universe and put it into John's mailbag for today.
Perfect.
Before we get to the mailbag, though, we have to talk about. I know this game's not till Thursday, but it is a short week for the Buffalo Bills this week. We've seen it 8 million advertisements over the weekend for this game.
Yeah, seriously.
What kind of recovery you think they're going to have? Because that was a pretty heartbreaking loss for both teams on Sunday.
Well-
And they both need this win. This is a very important game for playoff seeding potential. I think it's either going to be Miami or Buffalo getting probably the 6th seed in the playoffs.
Yeah, I mean, they definitely got lucky yesterday. Both teams did. I mean, Buffalo and Miami lost. Who was the other team that ended up losing? Pittsburgh.
Pittsburgh, yeah.
Baltimore won, which
Division leading Pittsburgh.
Yeah,
Oh, wait, nope.
kind of hurt everybody. But I think both teams will bounce back. The one thing that I'm interested in is Miami losing Brandon Albert for the season.
Yep.
Buffalo's front line yesterday was just wreaking havoc. They had 6 sacks yesterday, a couple forced fumbles. But they destroyed Miami earlier this year at home. Now going down there, it probably won't be quite that effort. But, Tannehill said earlier this year, Buffalo is built to beat them. And he's never beaten Buffalo in his career. So, I'm interested to see what happens from there.
I have to say that I think that the short week is going to favor Miami a little bit just because they're going to be at home. Mm-hmm. They don't have to worry about traveling on Wednesday. They don't have to worry about anything else. They have nothing else to worry about except for this game. They get to go home every night knowing that they're home.
So you get one practice during the week. You get Monday off. You get Tuesday
no,
practice.
There's no
Wednesday
Monday off.
travel?
What they usually, at least from what I understand, they do a light workout today, and then they do a full run through tomorrow, and then travel day is Wednesday.
Yeah.
Right. So there's Miami kind of gets an extra day to prepare.
Yeah.
Maybe they're watching film on the plane. Maybe they're watching film when they get there. I don't know, but the Bills, in any case, they lose the day. Miami doesn't.
Well, I mean, I read earlier that the Bills coaches, stayed overnight to get early prep. So I don't know.
To me, what? But I'm sorry to cut you off, but that to me, that just doesn't always equate to success.
No, I agree.
In a lot of cases, what I think it does is burn you out. Mm-hmm. You just got done with a really tough game. Go home, soak it in. Take a second, collect your thoughts, and then come back to the table. Because everything that you're thinking about last night is what happened in the game earlier that day. So you're going to try to look forward. You're going to try to see what you can do, but you're so burnt out on everything that happened earlier that day, it only makes sense to go home and just breathe.
Well, everyone was doing that except Nathaniel Hackett, who went home and took a nap at 6 o'clock and then slept through and woke up and go, oh, what am I supposed to do today?
Yeah. I see this game. This is one game where I definitely see a blowout one way or the other. I do not see a close game at all.
Really?
Do you know it's a divisional matchup, too? On Thursday
Yes.
night? Yeah, okay, just making sure you knew that. Stupidest thing ever. All right, we got to get to the mailbag. We're going to talk about that game. Obviously, Thursday we'll break the full game down when everyone's had time to actually figure some things out.
Definitely.
Poor Lamar Miller. I feel so bad for him.
Lamar.
Not only is he a little bit injured, but he lost his best lineman. That's
Yep.
not going to be too good for him. He got his opportunity, but probably not going to work out that well. Sorry, buddy.
Yeah.
All right, let's get to the mailbag. Reggie C. writes, can the Cardinals make a deep playoff run without Carson Palmer? Very straight to the point question.
Yeah, I don't know where Bruce Arians is getting this, that Drew Stanton is capable of winning a Super Bowl. I know they won with
You
him.
have to say that, though.
Why? Why do you have to say that? You shouldn't
Well,
be
you
saying
just go-
anything about the Super Bowl right now.
Oh, okay.
That's my point.
Was he asked specifically if they could make a
Even
Super
if
Bowl
he
run?
was, even if he
What do
was,
you
you
go,
deflect the question. No,
we'll take
you
it week
say-
by week.
You say, listen, yeah, you do. I know it's cliche. I know
It is
that's
very
what you're supposed.
cliche.
But that's what a coach is supposed to do. You're supposed to say, we're worried about 1 week at a time. If we get to the Super Bowl, we get to the Super Bowl. Our plan right now is to prepare for the next game. And I know, Drew Stanton has done enough in the games that he played in this season, which is important for him to remember. You just need to do enough. You just need to figure out how to not screw up enough so that your team can win the game.
So the Alex Smith School of Football.
Exactly.
Yeah.
100%. Alex Smith threw for 170 yards again to beat the Bills.
Yeah.
Well, don't forget, Drew Stanton is 2-1, but one of those games was against Denver, which is a game that was pretty not in his wheelhouse to win that game. If he had beaten Denver, that would have been a huge story.
Yeah,
but they did
absolutely.
beat the Giants on the road, and they won at home against San Francisco with him at quarterback.
Those are big, big, big wins.
They have the pieces. We've talked about this a million
do.
times. They have 3 really good receivers. Obviously, one's kind of winding down his career. One's a rookie, and one is right in the sweet spot of his career right now.
Well, that's what I was going to – I think Larry Fitzgerald is going to be a very, very big piece moving forward. He's a veteran. That's important. A veteran presence for Drew Stanton is extremely important. I think Andre Ellington is going to continue his big games. Michael Floyd's going to take a hit, though, and that's unfortunate, particularly from a fantasy standpoint, but he's got to take a hit with this because Drew Stanton does not air the ball out like Carson Palmer does.
See, I actually think the opposite. Based on Fitzgerald's had his best month since Carson Palmer came back. Floyd was the impact guy earlier in the season when Stanton was playing, though. And
No way. No way.
When it was playing
Floyd
those-
had his yards right when Palmer came back.
All right.
The first
We're
2
gonna
games
see.
he was big.
We need to look up on this one.
I don't know. Fitzgerald was not getting it done with Stanton. I know that much. His favorite guy seems to be John Brown, which I think his numbers are actually going to go up.
I love me some John
Did you see
Brown.
that dance yesterday?
No, I didn't see
Oh,
the dance.
that was one of the best touchdown dances I've ever seen.
No, I didn't see it because the fact that Drew Stanton came in later in the game, defense actually won them that game.
Yeah, I mean,
the offense had basically nothing.
You can't judge that on yesterday against the Rams are terrible, so.
Although they're scrappy. They're a confusingly scrappy team. They keep beating good teams. So I was expecting this to be kind of a little bit of a trap game here. What do you got for us?
Well, I mean, honestly, it doesn't look like Michael Floyd's had a really good game since Week 3, which was against San Francisco, so that would have been
With
Stanton.
yeah.
But yeah, I mean,
He's been terrible the last 4 or 5 weeks.
Yeah, he really hasn't been very good. So I don't know. Maybe you're right. Maybe that's the truth. But either way, I in my opinion, I guess, was more towards the fact that with a veteran presence there, it's a little calming. You know, it kind of keeps him under wraps. You know, when they get back to the huddle, Larry Fitzgerald comes in and says, "Hey, let it go, move on, let's go."
Yeah, I don't argue that Fitzgerald's been he's been awesome since Palmer came back. He's been playing really well.
Yeah,
but
don't forget this: the home field advantage in Arizona right now is actually pretty good. That's a really strong crowd.
it's been tough to play there for the last few years, actually, ever since they
Also-
went to the Super Bowl.
Also, apparently tough to be a fan in that stadium because you get the crap kicked out of you. But hey, whatever.
Oh,
That's the way it goes.
that sounds like
Yeah.
fun. Yeah, I don't
you know what
want that.
I gotta say, I felt extremely terrible for Carson Palmer.
I did too.
And you pointed this out that he signed an extension 8 days ago.
I'm sorry, it was Friday, so it was 3 days ago, whatever it was. I said 8 days, but it was actually a couple
Well,
days ago.
regardless, right after he signs an extension,
Yeah.
he goes down with the same knee injury, same way as when he was playing for
Yeah,
Cincinnati.
chemo.
You
Chemo
know?
rolled him up.
So, so unfortunate. This team was rolling, and he was a huge part of it. We'll see what happens.
Yes,
I don't know. This is not a good situation for them.
I'm
though.
sure we're not going to be talking about the home game for the Arizona Cardinals in the Super Bowl this year.
Probably
I don't
not.
think so. All right, moving on. Carl M. writes, the Dallas Cowboys risked their franchise quarterback in a meaningless fourth quarter in London. Is there any way this should happen when the game is so out of hand? What the hell is Jason Garrett doing?
I couldn't figure it out.
They were up 24 points in the going into the fourth quarter, and Tony Romo's still out. I mean, what goes through even like a casual football watcher's mind? You see, oh yeah, this game's over. Like, what are you doing?
I don't know if it is. Well, how much time was left on the clock when they were up 24? Just the whole fourth quarter?
Going into the fourth quarter they were up 20.
Then I
What's
don't
he
know.
doing on the field?
I don't know if I disagree with that because
Okay,
you've seen,
then play one
Series.
whatever. Thank you. Series.
didn't the Browns drop 25 points in a matter of minutes?
This is the what? Did they?
Earlier this year, in the fourth quarter, they dropped
Against
25
Tennessee,
points
right?
against Tennessee.
Yeah, it was like 20. It was like 20 something, I think. Yeah.
This is
So either way-
Jacksonville. This
Well,
is Jacksonville.
And that's Cleveland. So I don't know. I mean, listen. I get what you're getting at, but the Packers didn't even take out Aaron Rodgers until they were up 45.
All right, here let me phrase this a different way. This is a quarterback, a franchise quarterback who had two slightly broken something in his back a week ago. He missed one game. He wasn't even sure he was going to play
That was the
this
same,
game.
yeah, but that was the same injury that the kid from Baylor had, and he missed one game.
Okay.
So apparently it's a minor injury.
Again, but if you have this situation, he ended up getting hit a couple times on those drives too.
Yeah.
I was like,
You're right.
he did it. He limped off, and then I think he still played.
There was a fumble. I think midpoint in the game, he was actually in on the pile, and I saw the highlights. I'm like, what is he doing? And guys were taking shots at him, and I was just like, you got to be smarter than that when it comes to not just him but coaching situations.
Well, this
so.
is Tony Romo we're talking about after
it's-
all. And
Well, I think this entire franchise is screwed. We got Tony Romo doing weird things. Jason Garrett's a puppet head. Nobody's sure what he's doing there. And then you have Jerry Jones who's pulling the strings on all this, and we don't know where the actual information is coming from. He apparently told Tony Romo to go back in that game a couple weeks ago against Washington, according to reports. So who the hell knows if the coach even has anything to do with this?
I'm sure he doesn't.
yeah, no, I'm sure he's a figurehead as well.
It's hard.
Jerry
That's
Jones
the way,
in his
that's the
love
way
boat.
Jerry's world works.
Jerry's world. I don't want to talk about Jerry's world. Can we move on to something really?
Yeah.
This is the worst question I've ever received in Giles Mailbag, and I had to post it. I had to.
let's do it.
All right, James D writes, after Justin Bieber visited the Steelers a few days before their Week 10 loss to the Jets, should he be permanently banned from any team's locker room in the future?
Why are they allowing Justin Bieber into a blue-collar working facility?
Who let him in the building?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Did he call ahead of time and go, I'd love to visit the team that's really hot in football right now?
Does everybody remember that Pittsburgh is a blue-collar town? I don't think anybody likes Justin Bieber in Pittsburgh, so
I don't
why
think
is he
people
even
know
being
who
allowed
Justin
in
Bieber
Pittsburgh?
is.
I heard the last time he was there for a concert, he sold 4 tickets and was booed off stage.
Good.
That wasn't true.
I would have bought the 5th ticket.
None of that was true.
I would have bought all the other tickets just so I could boo him.
But
That's just dumb.
Okay,
Yes, he should be banned from the
We
Pittsburgh
joked about this. Well, we didn't joke about it. We talked about how this was going to be a trap game well before the pictures were posted of Justin Bieber being in the locker room. And then when that got posted to the internet, I was like, yep, now we're definitely losing this game.
Now the karma's there. Man, you called it 100%. I couldn't believe that they let this game slip away. This is a game that Ben Roethlisberger should have just been able to torch the secondary, and they just didn't do anything.
There was some screwy stuff, like the Mike Vick fumble that they reviewed. And did you hear Mike Carey? Did you watch any of this game?
No.
Mike Carey. There was a replay where Mike Vick's knee was clearly not down. The ball fumbled and like bounced off some players, and Cam Hayward recovered it. And Mike Carey in the booth is going, "Yeah, that's the easiest overturned call I've ever seen." And the guy's like, "Nope, play stands." Is called. And he's like, "Well, that's wrong."
Yeah, that's
There were some weird calls. I mean, we turned the ball over in our own 20 like twice. We turned it over in the red zone once. You're just never going to win.
Yeah, Antonio Brown had 2 career fumbles entering that day. He had 2 yesterday alone. So it was weird. It was just weird all around. I don't know how to describe it. Like,
It was a screwy trap game.
That's a trap
That's
game.
exactly
That is
how you describe it.
very much so.
We got plenty more to talk about in Week 10 of the NFL recap coming up after the break. And you're listening to the Star Fantasy League Show on 105.5 The Team.
Play fantasy sports for cash prizes. Join the top daily and weekly fantasy leagues in the country at starfantasyleagues.com. Now, back to the Star Fantasy League Show with Jonathan, Zach, and Nick, only on The Team.
You could not be more wrong, Mr. Boy Scout. We're back on the Star Fantasy League Show with Jonathan, Nick, and Footer's Universe.
Wait, well, couldn't he be more wrong though?
He couldn't.
Haven't we talked about this?
No.
He could get all 3 of our names wrong.
That'd be weird, though. If he just like,
That would be wrong.
Okay, he's never actually changed any names except for one, and then if he got all 3 of us wrong, that'd be weird.
What a loser.
Yeah, I don't agree with this.
I kind of look at someone said the other day, oh, I heard you on the radio, and they're like, yeah, I'm kind of like the 6th man. Like, I end up, playing a lot more than a lot of the starters do, but
you don't put up any production. You're Lou Williams.
I'm not including that starting lineup. So
You're J.R.
All right.
Smith.
You can be
Jamal Crawford.
You can be Manu Footer.
ooh,
No,
Why?
because that's a good 6th man.
Taj
Jesus,
Footer.
what?
Taj Footer.
You're a good. I like you as a 6-man footer.
But
Yeah.
it's fun to
You can
trash
have-
on him. Come on.
Yeah, of course. We still trash on Manu Ginobili for his bird's
spot.
nest.
I give
Yeah.
you guys great banter. Great banter.
No, you're sure. Okay, saying you give
All
great,
aboard the Footer Express. Toot toot.
Hold on. Here's a serious question: Does the Footer Express actually go to Footer's Universe? Does it like take you there?
It's a
Trains don't
magical
fly in
world.
space.
It's like the Polar Express, okay?
Okay, this has gone again.
You don't know how it gets there.
Somehow this
But it
is the
does.
second
I love
time
that
we've gone
movie.
off the rails today on the Star Fantasy League Show. If you're
Literally.
listening,
Oh,
Yeah.
pun intended.
if you're listening for football knowledge and fantasy knowledge, I'm sorry. I just apologize in advance. We're breaking down Week 10 contest, the big storylines coming out of Week 10. There are a bunch of them, but this is a weird week for football. There were a lot of crappy games this weekend.
yeah, but
lot of crappy
only
games.
one of them mattered.
Yeah, 7 teams lost by more than 2 touchdowns.
Yeah, that's depressing.
That's terrible.
We have 3 of them on the
Like
rundown.
the Bears.
Let's talk about the close games first, the ones that actually had some seeding and some playoff implications, et cetera, et cetera.
All right, fine.
First one on the docket is Dolphins 16, Lions 20. Both teams trading the lead in the fourth quarter very late in this game. These teams are both good, right?
All right. Well, before the season, I said how I like the Lions because they always find a way to screw it up. Well, I'm getting sick of this.
Yeah, they're
getting
winning all these
really
games.
tired of this.
Except against the Bills.
They don't deserve to win any of these games. Okay? You got Calvin Johnson back, and you are still in a close game with the Dolphins.
By the way.
Dolphins have a good defense.
Yeah.
But you should be able to pummel them, and you didn't. You should have lost. Go away.
Anyone not listening to the Weekend Fantasy Focus on Friday, and you didn't hear us say, if you don't put in Calvin Johnson at 11,000, it's the no-dub play of the week. If you didn't play him, you're an idiot.
Yep.
Listen to us.
Dumb.
Yeah, I listened back. We were actually really good on our calls last
We were,
weekend.
we were all
like
over it.
combined all together, like we hit a lot of spot on.
We're the
but
best.
Yeah, we're so good,
Hooray.
except we're not allowed to play on the site. So yeah, hooray!
No, I mean, the fact that they can keep pulling these out, it makes me angry as a Packers fan. It is wonderful for them. Great. Good job. But I'm getting sick of this crap.
What's going on with
Just
the health?
lose.
We keep seeing health issues. Reggie Bush again going down, getting hurt in the middle of the game.
He's flimsy and
He's
injury
fragile.
it's been
prone.
like that all this career. Did you see that play by Brent Grimes, though?
Yeah, that was unbelievable.
That
The
might be the
interception,
play of the
one-handed.
year. Like, that was incredible. That should have been two touchdowns for Calvin Johnson right there. And like we said, Golden Tate still was productive. He had, I think, 11 targets yesterday.
We've
and
said
ended
it.
up
We
with
said it
100
before the
yards.
season. He's the best free agent pickup of the year. He
Yep.
really is. He's
Easily.
he fits in perfectly. You need need a big play receiver across from Calvin Johnson to take some of the heat off him. That's what he's doing.
Well, and character-wise, too. He just comes to work. He's a lunch pail guy. Punches the clock, gets it done.
It's better than getting punched in the face where he was before. Remember Percy Harvin apparently hit him?
Yeah.
Yep.
If we hear a story about Megatron hitting him, we know it's something Golden Tate's been doing. He has a punchable face, maybe.
Maybe.
Hopefully not. All right, moving on. 49ers and Saints. You said that the Saints should have pulled this game out.
Yeah. That was a touchdown.
I know. No. Okay, I'm not talking about that. But weren't they down like 21-0 in this game, or like 14?
21-7. I
Okay,
think.
21-7. Sure.
No,
I saw that. And I figured the game was basically over because New Orleans sucks. Like they can't win.
They were up 21-3.
21-3.
Yeah,
Okay,
I knew it was.
sorry.
I knew it was
Yeah.
something big in this game.
Well, all I'm saying is, yeah, okay, fine. So they came back, but you know what? That shows me that they persevered. It's not like the game was so out of hand that it was just a total luck shot. That was a touchdown.
Okay.
I don't understand. He didn't visibly just force him to the ground. There's a huge flail from the defensive player.
Hold on. Can we get a fine for flopping? Can we do the anti-NBA and like just proactive? Just no. You know what? You don't do that. You're fined immediately. Don't do that.
Well, in
crap.
hockey, you get penalties for doing that.
Yep.
Well,
It's called unsportsmanlike conduct because you're not being a true sportsman.
But
you're being a baby.
Did anyone actually think that Jimmy Graham wouldn't somehow figure out how to catch that ball though? That's what he does.
That's his job.
Yeah.
And it's fine. That's fine. It's like saying, it's like saying you have to change the rules because somebody's too good at the game. No. So what if he's 6'8" and he can catch a ball that's 12 feet in the air? It doesn't matter.
Well, it's poor defense on San Francisco to even let New Orleans get a shot at that. I mean, they kicked the field goal, they kicked off, and let them get 30 yards with no timeouts and like 30 seconds
Because Drew
left.
Brees is a beast. He was like, dink and dunk, dink. Oh yeah, we're within like 50.
Still, though.
A beast is kind of over-exaggerating Drew Brees this year.
That's true.
Footer made the point earlier. I don't think Drew Brees has done a very good job this year. Statistically, maybe, but I think in certain situations he's come up with some bad plays, and that's usually where he keys in.
He single-handedly lost that game against Detroit. Again, Detroit getting lucky
Yeah.
in the later stages. They never should have had a chance to win that
man,
game.
So far, you've touched on two teams that I'm absolutely starting to hate in the Lions and the 49ers.
Is your blood just like
Starting to
boiling
boil,
right
yes.
now?
I am at a low simmer, but
The guy carrying that Saints offense is Mark Ingram. Third straight game with 100 yards. He has just been a nice welcome addition for them, essentially.
that's enormous for them, yeah.
I mean, I think he's keeping them in
They
the
don't
games.
usually have the one-headed rushing attack, so
No.
that's interesting.
With the injuries, too, to the backfield.
My biggest question, where was Kenny Vaccaro in this game? Was he playing?
Oh, my God. 4th and 10. Crabtree's wide open by like 30 yards. I could not believe that play. A great play by Kaepernick, by the way, to keep that play alive.
That's not what I was talking about.
Oh, I
this
thought-
was the first
well, that
chance
was
we
the
get to
play.
see for Colin Kaepernick being sacked by Colin Kaepernick. Seth pointed out while we were watching the Red Zone yesterday.
Yeah.
We didn't get to see Kaepernick sack himself. It didn't happen.
Well, still, I allude to the play. Like he was terrible yesterday. I mean, Kaepernick was just slinging the ball all
Not
over
as
the place.
bad as the Bears defense. Oh!
All right, we got
Use that joke about any team the rest of the game.
That's true. We have the most perfect segue. You must have seen my rundown. Packers Bears is next. Packers squeaked this one out.
Totally squeaked it out. And I was very proud of them for holding it together near the end of the game there. Man, 6 touchdowns in the first half just wasn't enough.
Yeah, I turned it off about halftime. I was like, man, I don't know why I'm turning this close game off, but yeah, it was ridiculous.
beautiful. That's what it was.
The
It was
second time
beautiful.
ever a quarterback has thrown for 6 touchdowns in the first half. Daryl LaMonica was the first back in 1969.
What
It was-
happened after halftime? Because honestly, nobody. I'm sure
Matt
nobody.
Flynn came in, and it was just whatever. That's fine. That's when you bring in a backup to give him some extra time.
I heard a cool stat that actually involved Rochester.
Oh,
in this
okay.
game.
How did you find a cool stat about Rochester?
I
somewhere
watch
in this
highlights.
game?
I hear
You
about
shut
this
your
thing.
mouth.
Okay, it's the second. Chicago's only the second team since the 1923 Rochester Jeffersons to lose back-to-back games by 50 or more points.
Damn it. It had to be a bad stat. Why was it bad?
The Chicago Bears. That's good.
No, but the Rochester Jeffersons were were America's team.
Oh yeah, it's true. I'm sorry,
The
Rochester.
Rochester Jeffersons.
Yes.
Can we go on the side here? What the hell kind of name is that?
That's awesome. What are you talking about?
That's one of the worst team names I've ever.
Oh, that's amazing. It stands for patriotism and
Now see if that
freedom.
team, if that team name had come out 50 years later, it would have been coming about that different
Did
Jeffersons.
Jefferson have like multiple wives though?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's the American way.
No, I actually don't think that is the American way, Nick.
It's about freedom.
I'm going to make sure your wife listens to
How
the
about
show
that play
tonight.
that Jared Boykin actually kicked the ball before the punter actually kicked it? That was one
that
of the
was great.
funniest things I've
on
ever
the block
seen.
punt. The block punt, he jumps up to go block it, and the punter had just dropped it, and it hit Boykin's foot. It was great. Everything about this game was just awesome. Baby Jay Cutler looked like Baby Jay Cutler. It was fantastic to see. He had no rapport with his receivers whatsoever. I was talking about this earlier. He tried to run a fade to the corner of the end zone with Alshon Jeffrey, threw it a full second or two early, and just completely sailed it out of the back of the end zone. It was pathetic.
Remember on
awesome.
Thursday when Zach said, "Oh yeah, I think I like Jay Cutler in this game."
Well, that's why, okay, when we did the Would You Rather for Weekend Fantasy Focus on Friday, I did Ben Roethlisberger against Jay Cutler, even though I said I didn't like Ben
Yeah.
Roethlisberger. I didn't
Still
like
ended
either
up
of them.
better, yeah.
And I think the jury's still out on which one was worse on Sunday. They were both
Jay
really
Cutler
bad.
was worse. Jay Cutler was worse.
Yeah, at least Ben
I
got
didn't
over
even see
300
Ben Roethlisberger
yards.
play. I'm telling you right now, Jay
No, I'm
Cutler
saying
was worse.
statistically speaking, Ben Roethlisberger had 2 interceptions, 1 touchdown. I think Jay Cutler had the same, didn't he?
4
He had 4?
interceptions.
Oh, okay.
4 interceptions.
And
One of them
Roethlisberger got over
returned for a
300.
TD.
So yeah, it was just a bad. I mean, Trestman came out and said we're a bad team. Wow, that's unique right
There
there.
you go.
At
least-
Atta
okay.
boy. You know what? We should recruit him. We should bring him into Packer Nation.
I want to give
Come
you
on,
some
Mark.
props. Your value tight end on Friday. You said Brandon Bostic.
He ended
1
up
catch,
catching a
1
TD.
yard, and a
Stop
touchdown.
it.
He was.
They said they were going to get him involved, and they
Okay,
did.
we had better.
Trust in
Stop
Mike
it.
McCarthy.
No. Stop it with you getting credit for it. I
Why? I
said
get
Jason
credit.
Witten. I think you said Michael Rivera, and you got 1 yard and 1 touchdown. I don't want to hear it.
What are you talking about? That was fantastic. It was great. He was a minimum
I did say
salary
Rivera.
tight
I
end.
didn't see
You
it.
said Michael Rivera, didn't you?
Yeah,
he
was the fourth.
killed it.
He was the 4th best tight end.
So
yeah.
what? I had a guy for 3,000.
Okay.
Money.
What about you? Okay, I'm tired. We can't just like toot our own horn the whole time.
Why? I can.
You know what? Speaking of
We
coaches,
haven't done that much this season.
Speaking of coaches that come out and say things that you just they're hypocritical and idiots. Mike Zimmer's back in again, saying we would openly welcome back Adrian Peterson, even though they basically
yeah.
didn't back him up whatsoever during the issue.
You know, but this is interesting. It's you know what I think we need to watch whether or not all of America has a short memory, or if they can actually remember when the Vikings stopped supporting Adrian Peterson. Because this is a joke. If I was Adrian Peterson, I would boycott the rest of the season. But
He's getting
a man
paid,
of
so
integrity,
he's getting
and he's
paid.
getting paid. He has to play fine.
Yeah, I think you might look at the rest of the season as an audition for another team. I believe
Absolutely.
his contract
He
is up.
should do that. You know what he should do? Because he can get fined, he could pay, he's making so much money. After every touchdown, he should have something written under his shirt that'd be like, how do you like this, Dallas Cowboys? How do you
Yeah.
like this, Cincinnati Bengals? Just like have different team jerseys underneath. And be like, you want me to play? These looks really good, right? Peterson? Miami
What if
Dolphins?
you just had a different team's jersey?
That'd be really funny. It's like, I'm auditioning.
I just don't, I would have taken it as a slap in the face that there was no support from the team. A team that drafted him, a team that he's put his heart and soul into. He plays harder than most of the players in the league, works harder, and I just felt like there was nothing
And don't
behind
forget, he came back in like 7 months from a torn ACL and
Not
put
a-
up
yeah, just a totally
2,000
blown out
yards.
knee, yeah.
2,000 yards.
It's amazing the Vikings can get worked into the show when they're on a bye week, and they still make the news.
Well, yeah, because Mike Zimmer's one of the dumbest quotable coaches in the league. Yeah, we're gonna get Matt Asiata the ball this week. No, he had like four touches. That's
Him and
what he
Gus
loves.
Bradley are up there.
Well, Gus Bradley doesn't count. He doesn't really have a job. Wait, does he still have a job? Breaking news: Gus Bradley has not been fired on the way. They should have. You know what they should have done? They said we can't afford your plane ticket back from London, Gus. You're fired.
Well, that's what Oakland did with Dennis Allen. They went over to lost in London, and he got fired.
So you're thinking Gus Bradley's like, crap. I really hope they book my flight. I'd like to get home.
Yeah, it would have been trying times for him. So
That is true. All right, coming out the break, we're finishing our breakdown of Week 10 of the NFL season, and you're listening to the Star Fast League Show on 105.5 The Team.
You're listening to the Star Fantasy League Show. Contact the StarFantasyLeagues.com guys via Twitter at SFL Show.
We are back on the Star Fantasy League Show, and we have just a few more games from Week 10 to break down before we get on out of here and watch some Monday Night Football that nobody cares about.
I care.
You care? You want to watch Mark Sanchez play football again?
No, I just have LaShawn McCoy going in a fantasy league.
Oh, so you care because fantasy's involved. What a surprise. This is StarFantasyLeagues.com. We care about fantasy all day, every day. That's kind of what we eat, sleep,
That is
breathe,
kind of our life.
live. You guys should live it too by playing on StarFantasyLeagues.com. We have our games posted for Week 11 already. If you're sweating your Week 10 games and you want to take that money and do something nice with it, play in Week 11. Or play at our NBA contest or NHL contest. We got free rolls every single day and lots of value.
Yeah.
Who doesn't love value? Fleur, you don't like value, do you?
I do.
Oh,
Actually.
okay, you do.
A little bit.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
Nice to hear.
Just a little bit.
All right, you know who doesn't like value? It's the Giants. They
don't value
they
themselves.
They don't have any value at all. That team is garbage. Right
Good.
now. Why? Why you gotta hate?
I hate the Giants.
Why?
Yeah,
I hate the Bears,
the
and then I hate
Giants.
the Giants. That's how it works.
You just hate them because they don't admit that they play in New Jersey, right? They're not the New
No,
Jersey
no,
Giants.
I hate them because they find a way to win lucky games, and then their fans are absolutely unbearable, and they think that Eli Manning is the greatest thing since sliced bread.
Well, I have breaking news for you. He's not.
No, he's not. He's a career 80 passer rating. It's pathetic.
Yeah, but can I say the only good thing to come out of this game is Odell Beckham is the man. He's really good.
He's really good.
Yeah, this receiving class of rookies, Evans, Watkins, Beckham, it's just they're great. Like
You forgot.
Allen
you
Robinson.
forgot one of the better ones, Calvin Benjamin. Man.
Calvin Benjamin.
He's 5 really
Yeah.
good ones.
Yeah, they are just unbelievable. This might be the best one ever by the end of the time.
Ever.
Yeah.
Come on, when can you remember more than 2 like really good rookie receivers? Usually like barely one. Like when do you hear like wide receivers that are rookies even get close to 1,000 yards? We're gonna have 2 probably get there easy.
You're right.
Yeah, Watkins. I think Watkins is behind now in yardage.
Is he? Thanks, Kyle Orton.
Yeah, but but he was leading it. He was over 600 yards. But yeah, I mean, we said this on Friday. Seattle was just going to stick to their game plan, run the ball. They had 5 rushing touchdowns, including 4 by Marshawn Lynch alone.
But you know what the funny part is? He didn't even have that many touches in the first half, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh yeah, we have Marshawn Lynch. It was a close game. Nah, just give it to him.
Well, and the
It's all
Giants, the Giants were up at half.
Yep.
They were up 17-14.
good. Yeah, see how long that
the
lasted.
The Seahawks only tied the game in the third, and then they just blew it open in the fourth. So, it was close, but Odell Beckham was good, but the Seahawks were better.
Yeah,
Much better.
They finally showed their dominance at home, and their defense stepped up finally. I mean, they had some big turnovers, and
Well, now that Carson Palmer's out, it's open season.
yeah,
in that
definitely.
division.
I mean, it's San Francisco. San Francisco got that big win yesterday. Seattle got the win, so they're not that far behind Arizona. So
Yeah, let's talk about that's the last game we have written down. The other 2 teams in the NFC West, Cardinals 31, Rams 14. This game was a lot closer than people thought as well. I said the Rams are like that spoiler team. They beat Seattle already this year. Did they beat San Francisco? Or did they?
They did.
Yeah, okay. I thought they always
Yep.
seem to play these teams really close, especially when the games actually matter for divisional seeding.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think you're going to see that continue. I really do. The Rams, they don't have the pieces that they need to be a competitive team every week. But they go into these games, these divisional games, and they want to make sure that they let their opponent remember them. So yeah, I think you're going to see them upset at least 1 or maybe even 2 more teams down the line.
well, the thing that they haven't been getting all year has been pressure on the quarterback, and they actually got some on Sunday, so that kept them in the game.
Yep.
So maybe things are changing down in St. Louis. Who knows?
No, they have hold on. They don't know who their wide receivers are. Well, they
don't
know,
have a
but
quarterback.
they know, but they're terrible.
Kenny Britt.
No. How do we end this show with yet another Kenny Britt reference?
He
I am
is just going to
so-
continue to haunt the show.
I think he does.
The ghost of
I
Kenny
think
Britt.
he does haunt that show. That's really depressing. We got the ghost of Kenny Britt. We got Andy Reid and his twin. There's so much going on the show today.
I would love to see them in a chicken wing eating contest.
No, not going to happen. All right, if you think that Andy Reid's doppelganger was the funniest part of NFL Sunday, you are correct. Take it easy, guys.